This is Territory Tales, the stories behind the people and places that make Oregon's Mount Hood Territory so awesome. I am your host, Jared Lyman. Joining me, as always, is my co-host and the other half of my brain who keeps me organized, Molly Johnson. How you doing, Molly?
I'm great, Jared. How are you?
I'm really good, and I'm going to have fun because, you know, we do have these amazing attractions. And I guess I say every episode that I'm excited. But the reason I'm excited today is because A, it's a very cool story. And B, it's about cute, cuddly alpacas.
This is very true.
So why don't you tell everybody how cute, cuddly alpacas come into today's show? Who's our guest?
Okay. Today we have with us Jennifer Cameron and her husband, Bill Cameron, who's just off screen. They are the co-owners of Alpacas at Marquam Hill Ranch in Molalla. How are you today, Jennifer?
I'm doing really well.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
One of the things that made us want to do this podcast is because so many of our partners have great, unique stories. And yours is actually one that was in mind when we started doing these podcasts. I've heard the story on tours and so forth, but it always captivated me because something like, you know, farming is generally a family tradition, right? Something that's been there for a long time. And while it is a family tradition with your family now, it wasn't always that way. In fact, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that you weren't involved in farming at all. Right. And now you guys are like experts on alpacas.
That's funny.
So how did you get into the alpaca business?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it all kind of started back when we lived in the suburbs of Portland and Tigard. Our 15-year-old son came home from high school. He wasn't annoyed at me, but he had something to say. Mom, do you know what the term helicopter mom is? And
he was a teenager. He was probably annoyed.
Teenager.
They just lived that way.
Annoyed. Yeah. And he was like that wise old soul kind of a kid, but he was like, do you know what the term helicopter mom is? And I'm like, no, Greg, you tell me your definition. I'm sure I don't have a clue as to what you're saying. And so I listened to him, or we listened to him for a while, like quite a while. And it was basically, I'm hovering too much. And so he wanted his independence. And I'm like, well, maybe you need to get a part-time job. Maybe you need to kind of spread your wings a little bit more too, but I'm still going to be a stay-at-home mom because I was a stay-at-home mom with 4 kids. Wow. So, and that was what my chosen career was. Right. And he wanted me to go have a hobby. I'm like, Mom, you don't have a hobby. And so, you know, I've always kind of told the kids you need to have a plan A because that's what they always think they have. But they also need a plan B or a plan C. And over time, he's like, okay, what's your plan A? What's your plan B? What's your C? When we leave? What are you going to do when we leave the house, when we all go away? And I'm thinking, I'm not thinking of a plan because I had 7 more years to go with the twins being like 10 years old or so at the time. Right. So I wasn't thinking about alpacas. They were not on the radar at all, as my husband can attest to that one. Right. And we went to an alpaca show because there was a cute little picture of an alpaca in the Oregonian. Oh. So we go to the expo center and we walked in. I was like, oh, these are kind of cute. And then it was like, what do you do with them? You know, there's those questions. And in walking around, I realized that, okay, they're raised for their fiber. They go to the bathroom in a general potty area. What else is there here? And so I walked away from that show going, could I do this? What are these? And I was asking Bill, it's like, what do you think? You know, is this something maybe we could do? And he's like, I don't know. Why don't you really dig into it and figure it out and research it? Right. Why don't you let's go to some farms. And so we kind of worked on that a little bit, and not just a little bit. We started working really out a little bit more. But I took it to heart. And because the kids were all in school, I had the ability to go do something without the children or without Bill. So sure. We found a couple different farms, but one farm in particular allowed me to go out and watch the vet on Mondays. So every Monday I would go and watch the vet for about a year. Without purchasing animals, we'd taken classes and stuff on animal husbandry and the fiber. But this particular vet, he specialized in camelids, which are alpacas and llamas. And after a year, I asked him, could I help? And he's like, well, I was wondering, why are you here? And I was like, I was told not to talk to you, because you're expensive. And so, yeah. So I hadn't talked to him really. Wow. And he said, yeah, grab this, grab that. And so I started grabbing things out of his truck, and I became kind of like an assistant in a way, and then he asked me, after a while, do you want to go with me to other alpaca farms on Mondays and do the rounds with me? And at that point, I was like, oh, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. But then that allowed me to be able to go out and look at how people moved their animals, how they treated their animals, how they housed them, what they did with their fiber. And then we were able to volunteer at shearing for different farms or go watch different shearing and what people did. And then during this time on my Mondays, Bill and I would go out and take note, look at other farms and go visit. And we, at some point, it was maybe 2 years after our research, we bought five females. We were going to have babies, Yeah. So we ended up with 9 pretty quick because 4 of them were pregnant.
Oh my God.
And then we had to find property.
Did they know that when you bought them?
That they were pregnant?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
This wasn't like a, whoa.
It was on purpose.
It's not like when you get home and it turns out your boy hamster wasn't and there's like 3 more hamsters.
No. We knew. We were we bought females. And the place where we bought them, this is kind of a funny story because Bill's he's corporate, or he was corporate. Now he's a farmer rancher. Right. But it was kind of funny because the people that we were going to buy animals from said, oh yeah, just go out in the pasture and go pick out the best that you like. And I'm thinking, we don't have the education that they do. And this was a fiber judge that should know what he has. And so Bill, not like a lot of other purchasers, said, you know what, you tell me what your best 5 to 8 are, and then we'll choose what we want. And that's what really set us apart in the very beginning, because we were able to really move our herd quality along much faster than if we just went out and picked the cute ones.
Right.
So that was a really smart way to do things. And so that's a huge credit, because we didn't get the super cute. We were going after the quality of the fiber for the most part. Right. And we concentrated in white. So we had 4 white females and 1 brown female. And the white was a commercial market.
Okay.
And so we were going after the finer quality.
Sure.
So from there, we started looking at property, because you can't keep, cute little alpacas in your backyard.
No.
So somebody else was taking care of them. And then we ended up, with about 30 when we finally found our property and built the barn, and then we moved them in. Kind of the rest is history, but there's been a lot of time frames in there.
Well, so what's the time frame between starting to look at alpacas and then where we're at today?
I would say, let's see, Greg is almost 30.
It's based on the kid Jates. I love it.
15 years ago. Like 15 years ago.
And I mean, yeah, that it sounds like a pretty good length of time. But I mean, again, there was a few years in there where it was just research and everything. Right. And you guys have like world-class quality animals. I mean, the fiber has won all kinds of awards. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you've really achieved highs probably quicker than anybody else could really think they could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jared. Well, it's. There are a lot of other people that have done incredibly well. And we've watched them a lot of times, when you sit in classes, down at Oregon State, because they have classes, or we'll go to other farms that have classes.
Just waiting for that.
What was that?
Every time somebody says something about Oregon State, I have to say, go Beavs.
Good.
Yeah,
glad.
Alumni.
Okay,
yeah. But keep going with your, when you're at class.
But so we, when we're in classes and stuff, we see the people sometimes of the same people that we sat in class with learning. And some people have gone further than us, and some people have not as much. And it depends on your goals, what you're going for. And you just push. Yeah, that's true. That did help, because Bill went through. So Bill's a CPA by trade. And I am not a numbers person. And I'm more into taking care of the animals, just like I was taking care of the kids. Right. And when we were going through this, there was nobody really teaching us on the quality of fiber and how do you get there and what is the value of the quality of the fiber. Okay. And so what Bill did in his spare time of being a
just not during March and April.
Oh my gosh, no! And he was a CFO, so he didn't have to worry about that part as much. Yeah, but anyway, so what he did is he took classes on learning to become an AOBA fleece and performance judge. So that means that he was learning all about the fiber and what the different qualities were. And then that allowed us to take that into when we buy other animals better than ours, what are we looking for?
Okay.
So the idea is when we go in and buy an animal, he's the one that looks at it. I mean, he'll look at the fiber quality, and then I'll look at the conformation, and I'll look at personality a little bit too.
Sure.
Well, I mean, you guys are a public-facing farm, so I mean, obviously you're there for the fiber as well. But as we were talking before we even started recording, the public part of what your operation has grown so much.
Oh yeah,
that
part.
That's probably has it shifted the focus a little bit.
You know what? I can do a test to that. Okay, so Bill and I met at Nordstrom.
Okay.
And so customer service was a really big deal. And so when we bought property, we were thinking, where should we be located if we decide to open to the public? And so and both of us were real estate agents at one point. So everything was about location, and both of us have sales background. And so we found the property right on Highway 213, thinking there would be a good chance of people coming in and visiting. So we built the barn with the possibility of our office/fleece room or fiber room turning into a store. Okay. And so that's what has happened. Yes. Which is pretty cool. Yes. And then the customer service part and we're not your typical farmer. And I mean, it doesn't sound nice, but we're really into being the first impression counts and the last impression counts. And when you're a typical farmer, you have stuff just kind of put everywhere where it's convenient for you, but we have to make sure that we're convenient for other people, not just us. So right. that's I think some of the difference. And because we were used to being more city, we like things really clean. And so our barn's really clean.
No, it really is. Yeah.
And I mean, it sounds weird, but that's customer service is a big deal. Yeah. And Bill,
we haven't lost sight of the breeding.
Yeah, and for those who can't hear Bill, the other half, he said they haven't lost sight of the breeding, which is actually, I mean, again,
focus on customer service.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how you've managed to multitask. That is, focus on the customer service, but also focus on the farm aspect. Because, as you said, at a lot of farms, these two can kind of compete with each other.
Yeah, they do.
Because let's honest, a bunch of visitors traipsing around your farm can be kind of disruptive to farming behavior and what y'all need to do to make crops grow and whatnot.
Yes.
So you guys have managed to find a balance there that I don't know how you did it.
Well, there's a lot of gray hair.
It's also your teamwork too. You're a good team.
We are a really good team. We haven't killed each other yet.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
good goal.
That's really good. No, but we do have things. I mean, it's like, oh crud, how are we going to get this done? We have a deadline, and you just pull it out. You pull your energy out and get it done.
Right.
It's hard, but really, one of the questions Bill asked me years and years ago, and it was a good question and it was a fair question. With livestock, it's every single day, all the time. Right. Are you able to do that? And I kind of chuckled. I said, what's the difference between that and being a mom of 4 kids? And he was like, okay, fair. But the thing is that the way I was as a hovering helicopter mom, I'm kind of that way with 83 alpacas now.
Oh my God.
I'm almost 84 today, so we may have a baby today. Ooh. So it's one of those things that we do. I'm kind of more of a workaholic, but I enjoy what I do. I enjoyed working with the kids when they were younger. This is just transferring from being a mom to, work.
Right.
I would go crazy if I didn't have this.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
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 We love giving our guests
Oh yeah.
the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's just
that
giving.
experience is definitely a big part of it. Well, let's kind of walk through that a little bit because, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously one of the biggest questions that people have, and when I got this a lot when I talk about the farms and whatnot, is people will mistakenly call them llamas. And and a lot of people don't know the difference.
True.
So Alpaca 101, how does somebody
Okay.
tell the difference between a llama and an alpaca?
Okay. First of all, when you look at an alpaca, you go, oh, they're fuzzy, or they may have dreadlocks. There's two different types of alpacas. There's the Wakaya and the Surrey. And we have the Wakaya. So that's going to be more of a fuzzy looking teddy bear look. So when people look at a llama, you're not going to see that teddy bear look. You're going to see an animal that's much larger than an alpaca. A llama can be up to 7 feet tall. A big llama can be up to 7 feet tall
Wow.
and about 450 pounds. Our largest is about 211, and I don't know how tall he is, not even 6 feet. He's maybe, 5'8",
Okay.
maybe something like that. He's really not that big.
Right.
So, first of all, it's size. So a llama can be much larger than an alpaca. And then the ears on a llama look like they're banana-shaped ears. They're kind of curved in like a banana would be, where an alpaca ears are supposed to be straight up.
Right.
And so this is kind of back in the day, that if you had a llama or if you had an alpaca with banana-shaped ears, it's like, is it a small alpaca or small llama? What is it? Well, sometimes, in Peru, they would.
Oh, so they could actually interbreed.
They can. Yeah, and so it's something where,
Alpaca?
but
Llama?
you don't register those animals. It's just it's a goof up.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a goof up.
So ears and
The
fur.
size.
And then, because I think,
Fiber.
wasn't that llama that came to that event? It had the long.
Yeah, it's got more.
long
It's got like
hair.
almost like
Right.
hair.
Yeah,
Right.
like hair.
And the
Yeah.
and the hair's different too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It has a two-coat system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the fiber on the alpaca
Yes.
is obviously prized. Why is the alpaca fiber so valuable?
Oh boy, it is fine. It can be just as fine as cashmere. I mean, it's very, it can be luxurious. It's based on the size of the micron, and the micron is a measurement of that individual fiber. And so there's not going to be as much of that really fine royal quality fiber as there is the average. And so that's why it gets priced the way it does, because
Okay.
there's supply and demand of those qualities.
Right.
And then it's also hypoallergenic, correct?
It is. It's hypoallergenic.
And something about the tinsel strength.
Tensile strength, yes, it's very strong. So if when we've Googled in the past animal fiber strength, muskox has been number 1, but alpaca's been number 2.
Oh wow.
And it's like, wow, okay. So that kind of makes us think, what do we use our alpaca for? And what we do is we've got animals in our barn that don't all have that really luxurious, super soft fiber quality. We have coarse as well. So every animal can have coarse quality on their legs, their belly, and their chest. So we use every amount of fiber that we get for products. And then that really nice fine fiber goes into yarn, but that coarse goes into rugs. And we have those made, they're hand loomed down in Texas. And so we go through all of the fiber from shearing and sort it by color, by quality, and by length for those rugs or for other felted products that we have made.
Well, what are because I remember because we've gone on, Jared and I have both gone on several of your tours. Any excuse we can jump
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
to any of the tours. We love
Yeah.
going to your
Oh darn,
farm.
have to go to the farm today for work. Oh shucks.
And I always love going into the store.
Yeah.
The store that you have, because you can purchase it in the store and on your website as well,
Right.
right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you've mentioned the socks
Yes.
being good for hiking,
Yes.
but what are some of the other products?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mentioned the rugs. Those are very durable. The socks are, we have found them to be very durable.
Yeah, they're so comfortable.
And they're cushy.
It's like wearing a cloud on your feet.
So
yeah.
true.
No, well, I'm glad you think that way because we do, and it's hard. You know, for us, yes, we're trying to sell the products, but we don't want them coming back. You know,
Right,
either,
right.
So you have to be really careful. Right. But we have a lot of the things in the store are imported from Peru.
Okay.
And the reason for that is we only have 83 animals, and
Okay, see, to me, like only 83. That's
a lot.
sounds like false
compared to
modesty or
thousands-
something.
Yeah, but compared to thousands that the people in Peru have, you know, or millions that they would have in Peru, very different. And so they've got the quality, they've got the fiber there, and that's where things are manufactured.
But you're still able to handle 83. I still find that mind-boggling. But
Yeah, but the products in the store, what we have made are going to be the yarn, going to be the dryer balls, the shoe insert felt.
talk about those dryer balls because I mean
Yeah.
it sounds weird, but I mean those are something that are actually really
That's
popular
a hot
from
item.
your store.
It's
yeah,
a very hot item.
yeah, those things are amazing.
So back in the day, my mom used to use tennis balls because we were tennis players, and she'd have these balls going around in the dryer. I'm like, what in the world are these things? They're making so much noise. But I just, you know, as a kid, you just let it go. Well, then these dryer balls have kind of come into play. Yeah. People are trying to get away from the chemicals of dryer sheets. And so this allows, you know, dryer balls to be made. They are 100% alpaca, so they are hypoallergenic. They are made. We used to make them a little while ago, and we would. Oh my gosh, it's time intensive. Yeah. It's ridiculous how much time it takes to form that ball and to go through that process. So we now have them made, and it's so much easier on our hands and everything else in time. But it's 100% alpaca that's been felted together into a ball. It's Dawn dish soap and hot water, cold water. But that's not that simple, but that's what it is. And then there are 22 natural colors of alpaca. So our dryer balls are going to be all different colors. And you can put 3 to 5 of them in your dryer. They are supposed to stay and take static out of your clothing, which they do. Right. And then they also create more airspace in your dryer so that your down comforters or down jackets and things like that poof up or puff up. Oh. And then your clothing, actually, there's more airspace that's being created in there because the balls are bouncing around, so your clothes actually dry a little bit sooner than what they should.
And how long do they
last? Yeah. We've been told for more than a year, and so if we use them and we say, oh yeah, more than a year, it's better to say that other people have said it's more than a year. Yeah.
Well, then people also put like essential oils stuff on them to do kind of their own scented dryer thing.
Right. It is kind of funny because Bill's had a story of somebody.
I was hoping the story was going to be told because I heard this once and it's just awesome.
Yeah, like I guess somebody almost like doused their dryer balls in essential oils and it just exploded. I mean, not the dryer ball exploded, but the smell was so intense. I guess they had to air out the house or something because it was like, whoa, what's going on here? You're creating lavender everywhere.
Yeah,
but,
I guess from what Bill said in the story, it's like the house was like a lavender.
It was a lavender
distillery
fest.
Exploded in their house.
Something happened, yeah. But really, all you need are maybe 1 or 2 little
essential
touches.
oils are
they can be very strong.
Yeah.
just a few drops.
Yeah, and I think
8 balls or 5 balls with 8 drops each.
Oh my goodness.
That's too. That's 40 drops. That's too much.
that was too much.
It's like 38 too many.
Yeah.
Well, this is super helpful to know because I feel like a dingus right now hearing this story because I probably go through a box of those dryer sheets every few months with my dogs and all the towels to dry them off. And if I had known that those were a problem, I'm just going to go to your farm. Another excuse to go to the farm and get some of those.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or I'll bring them in for you.
Oh, no. I want to go to the farm.
Okay. Go to the farm. Come see the babies.
Yes. Babies.
And that goes
segue.
right. Yeah, I mean, pro segue there. That goes right into the next thing because this is baby season now. If you're not listening to this when we first put it out, it is summer right now. So babies come in about late June.
Yes. And the thing is that they're induced ovulators. So this is a whole nother, I'll be really careful about how I say this, but They're not like your normal animal. They don't have a heat cycle. So their ovulation is stimulated by the sound of the male. So what we can do is look at our 2020 calendar and go, when do we want to go on vacation? When do we not want to have babies? And then plan this year to breed according to when we want to have babies next year. So if we want to have babies in May, it's too late to be breeding right now. So if we start July 15th, let's say, then we would be programmed next year to have babies July 1 because gestation's 11.5 months.
Man, that's a commitment.
It's a commitment.
Poor mama.
But
Yeah, right?
I know. Oh, yeah. But the thing is that we're having babies because last year we bred middle of July.
Do you typically you do this time, or has there ever been a year when you've totally gone off and done a different time of year?
Yes.
Okay.
We've had a baby in January.
Okay.
We've had babies in May and April, but it's rainy season sometimes, and you don't want babies being out in the mud. So that's something, it's better to have them. We like it during the summer, in the Willamette Valley, but other parts of the country will have their babies according to their weather. And so when I started researching this, I thought, we should do it like this. Well, it turns out the East Coast shears their animals like in April, March and April.
Yeah.
Humidity.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't
Humidity,
think
yes.
about that until you get out here. And then, but we're having babies now.
So
And you'll keep having them through
September.
oh wow.
Cria. Yeah. The babies are called crias.
that's
Cria.
what they're called.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
called babies. They're called crias.
Yes. They're
Okay.
called crias.
I just call them adorable.
Yep. They are.
Which they are. Yeah.
So he said soon to be 84.
Yes.
What's kind of like maxed out for you guys that you're going to be like, okay, we can't handle it anymore. And
we've
you're like
been-
83.
Okay, no. Been there, done that. We're not doing it again. Max was 120 for us, and we had 120, and that's too much manure to pick up. So you kind of just start selling them. You just have to move them out.
See, we've talked so much about all the wonderfulness about them, but yes, this was an endeavor, and manure, all the
yeah.
things.
It's always a part of
it's good.
farming.
Yeah.
It is, and and you learn a lot about picking up manure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. But it's a good workout.
Yes. So yes, that sounds like a very good workout.
It is, and we have somebody that helps us pick up the manure. Like today, they're cleaning the barn, so it gives us a little bit of a chance to get out.
That's good.
But it's good. It's a good workout. Sure. It's consistent. It's every day.
Yes, it is.
I'm not going to the gym like I used to.
Yes,
So,
it is.
and every once in a while you tweak your back, and you're like, okay. And it's funny because my mom's like, you really need to, cut back on your work. And I'm thinking, no. And she goes, well, you seem like you get injured. You go to the gym, you're going to tweak your back sometimes. You're going to have sore muscles. She's just a
Absolutely.
different generation.
Yeah.
No,
I
I'll be
love
polite, but yeah,
If I could get my workout in at work, it would make my life so much easier.
there you go.
But what other uses does it have? You mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah, the compost or the manure. You can compost it.
Okay.
But we have people that will actually call me and ask me for it directly out of the barn. And I know. So I'm like, well, sure, I've got a container, a trailer.
I
I've
just
got a
can't-
lot of it.
I just can't imagine making that phone call.
yeah.
You got some poop for me?
Yeah, we scoop poop. But the thing is, and we can sell it too. But you get into this, you think of everything you can sell.
Sure.
And you can do it. And it is something we do. And it's a 7 or pH, so it's neutral. So you can we had an area on the side of our driveway that we'd taken some trees out, so it was a ditch.
Okay.
And we were just nonstop. That was our poop pile, really. So we were filling in this ditch. And we put in trees, maybe 5 years ago? 4 years ago?
Okay.
And they are gorgeous. It doesn't burn.
Yep.
And they've grown to be really nice and tall. We didn't have to get, big trees to,
Right.
and originally we got, I think, 6-foot trees, and now they're probably, God knows how big,
Right.
12 feet tall.
Wow.
Double the
Yeah,
size.
they're big.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah,
Wow.
and they're beautiful and green. And the thing is we've used this manure in our pumpkin patch. We have a pumpkin patch this year. So,
Big pumpkins this year.
Big pumpkins, yeah. Bill, I want a pumpkin patch. I want something small. No, go big or go home. So now we have this big pumpkin patch. It's like, oh my gosh, really? But and And we're not selling any of our manure because it went to the pumpkin patch.
Oh, nice.
So we leveled out that big pile that we had. Now we've got these pumpkins that are, you got to.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check those out.
Yeah.
For sure. You don't have to twist my arm for
Okay.
that.
But it's not going to be like a huge pumpkin patch, but it's a big pumpkin patch for us because I'm going to have a lot of pumpkins.
Well, they're coming up with more and more things that people can come to the farm to check out.
Well,
I
right?
think it'll be fun. Yeah.
Because you guys do tours, and that's the
We
best
do.
part. It's not just come and visit and gander. There's
no.
some activity going on. It's
Definitely,
organized.
there's a lot of activity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do these tours, and they're by reservation only. We also have opportunities for the general public to come in, so we're open 10 to 4 most every day. I'm saying most every day because we're closed on Christmas and Thanksgiving. So we're open 4th of July. So that's just what we do. But anyway, we're open 10 to 4 every day except major holidays. For the general public, they can come in. They can see the animals. Sometimes all the animals are out of the barn, but they do come when they're called. And so a lot of times we'll stand there and educate the people before we call the animals because we really want them to engage and learn before they get preoccupied by looking at the cuteness.
Yes.
And so we kind of do that, and then we offer bags of grain for $3 so that they can feed them at the gate. That's just for somebody who just comes in off the highway. And then the tours that we have, those are by reservation only. They call me, and then I look at my calendar and see if I have openings. And if I don't, then we'll try to figure out what works for them. But for the most part, we try to work together on what works for the customer or the person who's visiting. So that puts us kind of in it's like, oh my gosh, can we do another tour? And what we try to do is maybe do 1 or 2 tours a day. Rarely do we do 3 tours a day, but we try to keep those tours limited in size because it's more personable that way. Yeah.
So there's other opportunities for people to kind of be amidst the animals as well, though. And in fact, you did one of those events on Monday. I think Mondays is going to be the regular day for your. Or wait, today's Wednesday. Tuesdays, yes.
Tuesday is the new day this summer.
I had a day off this week. I'm so
yeah,
confused.
for yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that. So that's out in the pasture. We have an event pasture. So the animals only go out in that pasture when we have yoga or we do a dinner in the field or summer camp or something like that. Yeah. So, it's neat because the gal that we have this year, she travels all over the United States and teaches yoga and all over the world, actually. And so we found her through you guys, which is great. About her territory rocks, you know. But
we didn't pay her to say that.
But no, it's great. And so this gal comes out Tuesday evenings and teaches. Yeah, actually, yesterday she came out in the morning and did a morning yoga class because it was 4th of July weekend. Right. So she was busy. So, yeah, we get about, this last one was 10 people. Yeah. And so we do that.
For those who are familiar with like goat yoga, this isn't the animals aren't walking all over you.
No,
they're a little more shy than the goats.
Definitely, that's a good point. So alpacas typically are a flight animal, and so they're going to be afraid of you. But we put them into the pasture, Tuesday at 7:00 when everybody gets there, and they get all excited because it's fresh new grass for them. But then as their heads are down and we get settled into our spots, they start walking towards the barn. As the sun goes down, they come in automatically. Well, we've shut them off from going to the barn during yoga, so they stay in our pasture. But they will actually wind around and start eating and munching on the grass as you're in a yoga pose or something. So it's kind of fun, you know, and there's cute picture opportunities. We just ask that you don't reach out and touch their legs when they're right there because they can kick and they are flight animals. They'd be afraid.
Right.
And I have done it once. This is actually the only time I've ever done yoga was Alpaca Yoga, so it's ruined all regular yoga if I ever try that again. Yeah. But I mean, they are just right there. I mean, you're sitting there doing the thing, and they just walk right up and kind of check you out. But they don't interfere with anything. It's just, hey, this cute animal is right next to me, and it kind of adds to the experience.
Well, and also too, the thing is a big difference between other yogas is that our alpacas, they go to the bathroom in a general potty area, a community pile. And so there is no manure in the pasture. It's only in a little area up by the barn.
Okay.
Wow. So you can
nothing you got to worry about.
No, there's nothing to worry about. Yeah.
And,
so
and
it's-
you do the yoga
Yes.
once a week in the summers.
Yes.
But isn't she doing an extra thing each
Oh,
month?
sound healing.
Yeah.
That's with a gong. Yeah,
Okay.
this is very different. And if you've never been a part of a sound healing class or something, I had taken one probably a year ago and I thought, this is really odd, But then with the pastures, I thought, okay. And she offered it. I'm like, well, what do you do? And she has all these different kind of instruments that are very kind of soothing and very unusual sounds. Like she has like these nuts that are on almost like a bracelet that sounds like running water.
Okay.
Oh, it's fascinating. And then she has like these flute kinds of things she blows into, so different sounds there, and then bowls that she makes sounds with, and then her gong, and the vibrations on the earth. As you're laying down, you feel these vibrations, and it's kind of like, ooh, what's this doing to me? Okay. But
It's supposed to be calming you, right?
it's supposed to be calming me, yeah, or stirring something up, in your gut. But it's interesting. And the animals either will come over and question, what is that sound? Or they just ignore it. But then there's been a couple sounds that she has, like the flutes, almost resemble their alert sound that they have. So they're like, whoa, what's going on there? But they're very curious. So it's kind of fun. But then after, each of our classes, we feed the alpacas, and they all come over. And they have a good time.
Yeah.
We're not threatening.
No.
Because we have food at the end.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
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 That's awesome.
And then you guys are hosting a dinner in the field again this year.
We are. That's in September. And I think in the last couple of years, I think it's been in September, which is a great time of year.
Oh, yeah.
If it's raining, they will put a tent up. But we've not had to do that. I think one year we did that, and it's totally fine. But we do it in the event pasture here again, so it's real clean. We do have animals in a pen out there, and so that they're not just wandering around aimlessly and people aren't chasing them, because we have to make sure that our animals are protected.
And I don't think we should clarify Dinners in the Field is by one of our other fabulous partners in the area. It's Field and Vine is the event company, and they do these amazing dinners in the field, and they partner with partners like Alpacas and tons of other Mount Hood Territory farms and locations, and they do these 6 and 7 course dinners on the farms, and they partner with wineries, and it's just absolutely incredible.
It's really good food.
Yes.
Yeah, the food is amazing, and then you
is.
combine it with this beautiful location, and it really is something for all the senses.
Well, and the thing is too is when you book into a dinner like that, you question what are you getting yourself into, but you are sitting next to people you may not know, and it's really nice. And they do offer, like, if somebody. It's family style. Right. And so if you've got a really good salad that you like, which would be me going after a salad that they've made before, could I get more of that? Mm-hmm. And if they've got more, they definitely will give you more.
No one's going away hungry.
No.
Yeah, if you go away hungry, it's your own darn fault.
Yeah, but every 6 people get portions and stuff, and they do a really nice job.
They do,
and they clean up for us.
Right.
They come in, they set it up, they clean up afterwards, and the people. We've not had any problems with people coming out, and it's fun.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, and I just love all the ways that things are connected. And another way that you guys are also connected is you guys are part of one of the Oregon farm loops, correct?
Yes.
Which farm loop are you a part of?
Malala Canby Farm Loop.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we've been doing that for 7 years.
Wow.
It's weird, yeah.
And the farm loops are a great way for people to get out, and especially for people like me who never really had any experience with farming. I'm originally from a climate where you grow rocks and that's about it. So
You're sheltered.
Yeah, well, you have to be sheltered. It was hot. But farming was such a unique thing. And there's for so many people, they don't know where their food comes from, or, the fiber in the animals.
Yeah.
So going on these farm loops shows them a whole other part of how society works. And it really is a lot of fun.
It is, and it's been a lot of fun for us because we kind of got in on, after it had been developed for 1 year, then we got in on the second year of it, and we worked with you guys on putting that together. And it was interesting because there were originally, I think, about 16 farms in the Malala Farm Loop, or maybe 12, and then it's expanded to about 22 or so now, and in Canby and Malala have combined. But when people come out and they're at our place, I always like to ask, where have you been and where are you going?
Right.
And I have a table of all these different brochures from around our area to kind of not force people, but to guide people as to all the different things that there are. And there's the maps that we have for the different farm loops. And if people are going towards Marion County, I pull that out. Or if they're staying in Clackamas County, I pull out a number of them. And it's fun because you can pull it out and say, it's blueberry season. Have you even thought about picking blueberries? And sometimes, call them ahead to make sure they're open. But we're getting people to stay in our area. And that's the idea.
Well, you mentioned it earlier in this conversation about how you guys are basically open almost every day of the year.
Yeah.
This 10 to 4 timeline. But also on one of our previous podcast episodes, we interviewed Barb Iverson of Wooden Shoe Tulips.
Yeah.
And she made a comment about how they've really, because they're open quite a lot too, not just during tulip season, but for their winery and their other offerings at the farm. And she mentioned, that they try to do exactly what you're doing, which is say, hey, where else have you been? These other places try to stay open just as much as we do. And they are a 10-minute drive this way or this
absolutely.
way.
Absolutely.
And
we
you really work together.
We play off each other pretty well,
you do.
And so people, it's kind of fun because when they have their tulip festival, we know we need to staff accordingly because we do get, and we do. But there are times, believe it or not, people are coming to us first and don't know about the tulips. And it's like, oh my gosh, you can get a back road because there's some back roads that you can get to from our place that you're not on I-5 or something like that.
Right.
And so it's been fun to say, okay, here you go, and you go this way and you go that way, and you may be able to get in and not have to wait so long.
Yeah.
And we'll go out there. We'll take our alpacas out there.
I love the photos of the alpacas with the tulips.
My
It's just
gosh.
amazing.
And it's really fun. And so we'll take our alpacas out there a couple times a year, just have them walk in the tulips, and people can take pictures of them. But they're neat for postcards.
It's so neat. You guys have done that. TMK Creamery has taken their cows out to the tulip.
Yep.
I love when you guys bring your animals out there.
Oh yeah. Well, Barb's so open to cross marketing, and that has helped us. He just did huge.
Oh yeah. I just love how you guys work together. And honestly, Barb, you guys in particular, and a few others, you were Jared wasn't kidding earlier in the conversation about you guys were on our mind when we first decided to do this Territory Tales podcast venture, because you guys have these absolutely amazing stories, and it's hard to tell in short form. You need these long form conversations to be able to talk about it. And I think telling people how you guys have created these businesses, people are looking for that. But I think it's an even bigger challenge what you guys have done, which is I think it's harder when you're an adult to say, I'm going to try something totally different than what I've done before. And it's hard to find that motivation to do the legwork you guys did as an adult, to do all the learnings again of something brand new, and then go out and just smash it the way you guys have just done such a good job. So you were totally part of why we wanted to do this. And I'm so glad you just told us your story.
That was really sweet.
Yeah. I mean it.
No, I mean, we don't look at it that way.
It is.
We just work.
I know.
We just do it. But we have fun doing it.
We do.
But yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
No, we have great partners though too.
Yes.
So that is huge.
Right.
And now we're going to have some fun.
Okay.
This is the part we didn't tell you about.
Uh-oh.
We do this actually with every episode of Territory Tales. The whole point is to get to know our partners.
Okay.
So we do a little bit more, and Molly curates 5 would you rather questions.
Oh.
Just silly, off the wall things, just kind of
Okay.
fun ways. So just kind of off the top of your head, come up with the answer. We riff on it a little bit and have some fun. But this is really about getting to know our partners even more in a way that their story doesn't share.
Got it.
So Molly,
Okay.
would you rather?
Yes. All right. So, Jennifer, would you rather hear good news first or bad news first?
Oh. Probably good news first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so.
Good.
I kind of go the other way. I want to end on a high note, so it kind of feels like You know,
Yeah.
okay, not everything's bad.
Nope. I think I like the good news
She
first.
likes the good news.
Yep. And then I deal with the bad news.
But yeah, I get the sense that you're very good at handling and dealing with the bad news. That you would just yep.
I just
4
yeah.
kids and 83 alpacas. You have
Yeah.
to be.
Well, you have
You
good
gotta
news
deal
and
with
bad news at the same time too.
Right. That's right.
She's used to dealing with
Yeah.
excrement.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, thanks.
All right. Would you rather have your flight delayed 8 hours
Oof.
or lose your luggage?
Oh.
I guess I should say lose it temporarily. Like
I was gonna say,
eventually it'll
you're
come
gonna
back.
get it back.
Because 8 hours, it's not. Yeah.
I think I'd rather lose my luggage.
Really?
Yep.
Don't take my stuff.
I don't want to carry a lot of stuff with
Oh,
me. And
you're
the really important stuff is in my carry-on and right with me. So
I need to learn from you, Jennifer.
well, you know, I wear jeans a lot and I wear the same thing, so I'm okay with that.
good.
I could put a baseball cap on, I'm good.
Good. Okay,
Yep.
good. Well, speaking of traveling,
Yeah.
would you rather have an action-packed European vacation where you do a bunch of stuff,
Okay.
or 2 weeks in the Caribbean at one resort?
Action-packed.
Really?
Sitting, I don't do well.
We've
Yeah.
gotten that sense.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, going to a beach and sitting, I can do that maybe one day, but I like to be busy.
Yeah, honestly, you guys
Yeah.
didn't see this if you're listening to the podcast, but she has
Yeah.
sheared 3 alpacas while we're having the podcast. She just
No.
doesn't sit still.
No,
Okay.
I have fun, but I mean, I think having activities is the way to go for me.
Okay. Would you rather, since you like to do things,
Yeah.
and would you rather explore space or the ocean?
Ocean, definitely the ocean. Oh yeah, I wanted to be a marine biologist at one point.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, best
Yeah.
question yet, because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
about her.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm over here going like, I'm Captain Kirk in this thing. Give me this.
I
Give me
know.
the spaceship.
Or is it
No.
Star Trek or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to scuba dive, so I like the ocean. Yeah.
Well, hey, okay,
Yeah.
that was a great question then.
Yep. I was gonna say, where are you getting your questions?
Google.
I try, yeah. All right. Would you rather call or text?
Oh Lord, she's not a millennial.
Call.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Do you know how I knew it? Because you do your scheduling by people calling you.
Absolutely.
They call you for the tours.
I
they
think
call you
it's
for
really,
yoga.
you know what? I think it's really important. You know, people will call and say, you know, leave messages saying, I can't get onto your website to book a tour. I'm thinking, no, I want that personal contact.
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
So
That's huge.
that said, let's close this out with how can somebody get in touch with you to book a tour?
They definitely can call me on my cell phone because I am up to date with the cell phone.
Yes.
But no, and I try really hard to answer everybody back, but I may answer at 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night, but I will text them to say, you know, I know it's late. I can book a tour. You can call me back or we'll just go back and forth that way. But I try really hard to get back with everybody on that day. Yeah.
So you can call her. If you can go to their website. What's the website?
MHRalpacas.com.
Right. And it has her.
My
her-
cell phone number's there. Yeah, and I tell you my cell phone, but that's okay. But they can call.
Right. You can go to the website. You can find
Yeah.
the phone number. You can call
Yeah.
for tours, call for yoga times, and
Exactly.
scheduling your yoga or your sound healing.
There we go.
You're gonna have a good time.
Yes.
Alpaca the
That's
bags.
cute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it
Thank
because, again,
you.
it is a fascinating story, and the alpacas are just so darn adorable. And hearing how that came to be is honestly inspiring, too, because, again, you guys completely changed direction at a time when people are still thinking, like, okay, I got to start planning for retirement.
Yeah.
And I think I just scared her.
Yeah. Yeah. Retirement?
She's like, we're not doing that.
Yeah, never.
No.
Well,
Thank you again.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks a lot, you guys.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in once again to Territory Tales. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, whether you're on iTunes or SoundCloud or Spotify or Google Play or something else that's out there that I don't even know that we're attached to. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and be sure to catch us next time on Territory Tales.